name is Chamakamba. I'm from Imo State. One fun fact about me is I dance better without the lights on.
Another person comes and makes it confident, we're putting them on the spot. So they're going to stop there. They're going to greet everyone in the morning and they're going to say their name, where they're coming from, and one fun fact about themselves before they settle down. So that's what we're going to do. I think, and then when they stand there, everybody just look back and they just leave. Yeah. Okay. Supposed to be getting your notepads very soon because we're going to be talking about a few things, but I think that's on the way. And I need, well, not necessarily, I need you to pay more attention than to take notes. So while we kind of wait for that to happen, for the notepads to get here, I'm just going to ask one question. And this is a question I always when doing the talk. So I need to start by explaining to the natives that, ironically, I'm working in a tech organization, but honestly, I'm not really a fan of technology. I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel like where does it stop? Everything is getting automated, everything is getting digitized. Are we really? Do we really need everything to get automated? Do we really need everything to get digitized? I definitely understand the benefits of digitization, but you can't deny, well, for someone like me that's very traditional, you can't deny the fact that there are some elements of humanity that should still be preserved in its traditional form. For me, one of them is reading books. I hate e-copies. Like, if you give me an e-book to read, I will not read it. Or if I start reading it, it will take forever before I finish reading it. I love holding my books and I love flipping through pages. There's just something satisfying about flipping the page or even smelling the book. It just feels really good. So what I always say, like after I talk about that, I then go straight into my questions that with the way things are going, the way technology is and developing everything, it's do you think that in future, and by future I mean maybe like 5, 10 years, because things are happening. Do you think that robots will be able to love? That's the question. But yeah, I'm waiting for your answer. Yep.
Absolutely not.
Do you think that robots will be able to? Do you think that robots will be able to love, to have the emotion love?
No.
No? Why?
You can't install emotion.
Yeah, you can't
Installing
install
emotion is
emotion.
like
You'll be surprised the things I've heard.
It's basic. For you to have emotions, you have to have, there are some things that have to run through you as a human being. You have to be human to feel. If you're a robot, you're not human. It's only humans that can feel, and it's only humans that can be able to express emotions. Emotion has to do with being human, have to feel. Robots cannot feel. If you hit a robot, it's not going to feel hot. It's just, you're just changing like a bolt or something in that robot. But being human, there's a whole lot of emotions that run to you: anger, pain, sad, hot. You lose a loved one, you feel hot. You have a heartbreak, you feel hot. You get a new job, you feel excited. All these things cannot actually go through a robot. A robot can actually say those things because it's programmed to say those things, but it will not actually feel those things. It can be programmed to say, when somebody says, I'm not feeling good, oh, I'm sorry. It's going to say it, but it's not actually going to feel it as an emotion. Yeah.
Okay.
can I just
So, okay, yeah, 15. So what you're saying is, it can't feel the emotions, but it can be programmed to
To
act,
express,
express.
yeah, emotion.
Okay.
Yeah, talking from the course I studied back then is biomedical technology.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
I said, talking from the course I studied back then in school, biomedical technology, I came to realize that there's so much in nanotechnology, artificial intelligence. So, and one thing in mind is change is constant. So, talking about trying to realize that if you look at it, I think robots definitely, certainly, to an extent, they begin to feel, they have sense of feeling. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, 1 second. Media team. Do we really need these mics to pass now?
No,
No, media team. I'm asking you. Yes? Yes, okay. So we'll make it work. So just please pass
so
the
we can
mic
get in
to
the other side.
Perfect. And
some of
so I'm going to try to remember names. I remember Audu, I remember Oye, I remember Elizabeth, IDK, Danny, Samuel, Dozier, Mofe, make your Ebuka. No. Eh? Kenny can be okay, don't worry. And what's your name? Eh? Amaka. So yes, Mofe.
Okay, so first of all, I believe the way we think about emotions differ. Because basically it's just information, synapses firing in the brain. So that is actually what generates emotions for us. When you see someone you like, part of your brain actually functions on that part, and that what generates those emotions. And since at the basic part, like at the fundamental part, it's just information, I believe that it's possible for education. We have neural networks, we have artificial intelligence currently that are actually like pretty advanced and detect emotions by themselves. So I don't think it's a stretch to believe that okay, in the next maybe not 10 years, maybe like 20 years.
20. Why 20?
Um, artificial intelligence currently does not. We haven't achieved artificial general intelligence currently. So I mean, without attaining that, I doubt have like an AI that can express emotions. Like
Okay.
can feel emotions.
Okay. Or I think you should take a number so that it goes round. Oh, but first, before you answer, I want to play something. I think I can get it. Okay. Now we're talking about machine, and the future of work and
Hmm? No, no speaker. Come.
machine. See, we have to understand that these machines are to be controlled by humans.
So no matter what you feel, I will still be that God is different. No matter how you want, the machine cannot in the future produce love entirely without human controlling those machines. So I think we are very not exhibiting the power of artificial intelligence. That's one. And two, we've also restricted emotions to love. It goes beyond love. There are other emotions that you can feel. And for everyone in this room, we are all the products of the information that we have. I dare say that everyone here, we don't know that we have some emotions because we don't have experience about it. For instance, you don't know how to feel when anything of emotion. You don't know because it's not inside you. You know how you feel when you see a baby you like or a guy you like. It's an emotion that expressed because you have some information about emotion. But you don't know how it feels when a grenade is pointed at you. So if you put the body of Peter in the machine over time, and that's using artificial intelligence, the body of Peter keeps increasing. It gets to a point where you and a computer game scramble or chess. I don't know if you've heard of it. There's a chess game that you can never defeat. Because it has no information from you. This man, that man, and that man. So it has learned a lot. Okay. So I just wanted to play that too. So that you know that there are some people that actually really believe that machines can actually love. And that was the last cohort. That was okay, no, that was this cohort 3, right? Very interesting set of people here. I just have to say that particular thing. So now that you heard these guys can answer.
Okay, yeah, thank you. My name is Ayo once again. Well, I'd just like to say first that anything is possible. Okay, that's a fact. And well, like we first said, there has been a lot of work as to machine learning and making machines to recognize and identify patterns. So I believe that that is the foundation. For example, I saw this movie series Suits. Okay, if you've seen it and you know Donna, and when that tech guy had to, create a machine that could communicate like her. So what he did was just to put the machine close to her, listen to how she spoke and interacted to people and responded to certain situations. And the machine could pick up and act like that to an extent. Alright, so that's the learning part of it. And Samuel talked about it being able to feel. Okay, it is true, but I still believe it is possible. It may take a while. Alright, if you think of programming and machine learning, for instance, I think that if you want to relate it to a human being, if you want to relate it to a human being and their emotions. So if let me use an example, sorry, maybe someone breaks my heart, for instance. Example. How will I feel? I mean, I feel downtrodden, I feel betrayed, and all of that. So there is that, let me say, programming to feel that way when something happens. So I believe some things can still be reproduced in the machine. The first thing is going to be able to identify what has happened, recognize what has happened, be able to interpret it, and then based on that, there will now be a trigger, right, in the machine. So let me say maybe reduce the machine's emotion or something like that.
Thank you. Alright, okay. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I feel robots can never feel love. The only part of essence that technology can achieve in creating robots is to actually express love. Robots in the future will actually go to the extent of expressing love, maybe hugging, expressing love, but not feeling love. They can actually make robots to hug people, to do some stuff like express the expression of love, but not to actually feel love. Because for you to feel love, you have to be a victim first. So that's the concept.
Sorry, I just want to add something. I don't think it's very crazy because I think you have to have the ability to reproduce. If you cannot reproduce, you cannot feel emotions. For a fact that a robot cannot give birth, cannot reproduce, cannot have a replica of its own person. So it doesn't work that way. Humans will be able to create robots, but humans can actually give birth. When a robot gives birth, then I believe I would accept that.
There are a lot of women and men
Yes,
that
biologically, that is the biological term. That's so because they are
sorry,
machines.
can I just say something that
That's why.
a flaw I have with that? There are a lot of women and men that cannot reproduce, that can, that's the problem I have
No,
with
but
that.
they were born actually. So
Okay, you
for the
mean,
fact that they came to existence by reproduction.
so now you're saying the fact that they have a reproductive organ, or what-
Yeah.
what the
For the fact that they actually came to being because of two people, two humans coming together. They didn't come to being because they were created by one person in a lab or whatever. It was by fusion of two biological
So what of Adam?
DNA. That's what I'm saying.
What of Adam?
sorry, please, I just want to do a quick introduction. At the back there, we have Brown Dog. He's he's a lot of things. But I'll start by saying that he's now an alumni. So he's an alpha alumni. The alphas are the first cohort. They just did their alumnus rather. Alumnus rather. Thank you. He's an alpha alumnus, and he was also a priest in a sect. So in a way, he's here to just welcome you guys and just say hi. So Brown, say hi to the new babies.
Hi. Yeah, we get to interact, properly in the near future. So you're welcome.
Sorry, quick one.
Yes, sorry.
Alumnus does not really relate to the village. So,
No, sometimes just have to use English for things that need to be directed as English language. So they graduated, and automatically so they are now the alumni. They are now an alumni cohort, so it's an alumnus of that. So someone was saying something before I interrupted.
No, the young guy that was talking about reproduction.
Yes.
So I was talking Adam that wasn't reproduced. Adam was made in God's lab. Does he lack the capacity to feel love?
he has a soul.
Okay, I moved to zone now.
I want to look at it from this perspective. Human beings were created. God created human beings. And I want to also believe that there's actually nothing artificial about artificial intelligence. It's still part of God's creation. It's God that gives us the ability to think, come up with coding. It's not human in any way. So I believe a point will come where we might lose control of this creation. And at that point, as we are talking now, you don't know how I feel. I think I'm a robot, nobody knows how I feel. I don't know how you feel. So it's possible they have feelings, you don't know because they tell you. So there's nothing impossible with artificial intelligence. It's going to get to a point where the creators will lose control of what they created. And at that point of no return, they will want to tell us how they feel. So let's not argue more.
Okay. So have you watched iRobot?
Yes.
Have you watched a movie called How?
No.
How? Have you watched How?
With Joaquin Phoenix.
Uh,
No, I haven't seen it.
I think this, but let's just use iRobot. So you all know what happens at the end with iRobot. They had robots. They were the movie was shot in Israel, and they had robots protecting them or something. It was a long time ago. But the point is, at the end of the day, the robots developed emotion. And I think they had a revolt or something. They said they didn't want to be used anymore for domestic work, and they felt like they were, human beings. And they started this whole revolution, blah 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 blah, with Will Smith using them or something like that. You get the drift, right? The other movie called Her, I watched it and also shot in the future. That so this guy was lonely, and but typically it was a technology age, and they had this. It started out as having a companion. That was how it started. That if you're lonely, in a world where people are doing so many things, social media era, digitization, blah blah blah. Some people are just lonely. And so they said, oh, you don't have to be lonely anymore. There's this AI that's just going to be talking to you, making sure, blah, blah, blah. Before I said Jack Robinson, you can't fell in love with the AI. Yeah. And the AI. And then the new thing was the AI now fell in love with him again. It was ridiculous because she had to, it was so silly, if you ask me, because at some point the AI wanted to feel like the guy, I mean, like have physical connection. You know what she now did? She now went to, they went to program something or something like that, and they got like an actual person, like an actual lady, and I think they put the connection or something in her ears and blah blah blah, and then it was now like the girl, the human being was now a robot because the AI was telling her what to do and how to behave, and then the guy was not. And I was just like, what's going on here? Do you understand? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So the point is, I think, and sadly, even though I don't want to do that, I think with the way things are going, don't be surprised though that tomorrow now, you just hear that one solution or one thing has been developed by somebody in China, and then the rest is history. Why China? Like you don't know that. Sorry, they're lying. Abby? Let me not say. But I think it's so. If I'm just going to take one more opinion, and then we'll just go to the papers that we distributed. So this one more person.
What's your personal opinion?
As I said, I think scary. I'm this sadly, and yeah, I'm quite afraid that, and this is just because of me and my person, like my bias and who I am as a person. I think it's very possible. Is it going to happen tomorrow? Absolutely not. Is it going to happen soon? Maybe. But is it going to happen? Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if I woke up 20 years later and someone tells me machines are very loving me. I'm just like, that day in Semicolon I was talking about it. And then here we are, right? So once upon a time we thought flying cars were never going to be a thing. We thought it's suspended, like it's everything is changing. And the possibilities are limitless. So one more opinion and then
Alright. I don't say much. I was saying I believe nothing is possible. Everything can come to pass. As for robots, to express, yes, they will. But to feel, just to an extent. That's what I mean. To an extent.
thank you. So in front of you we have a paper. Oh, so you have a paper titled the Desiderata, right? So the Desiderata is Desiderata. Yes, Desiderata. So the Desiderata is something that we take very seriously here in Semicolon. It's can we do where's can we do so we take it very seriously. It's a write-up by Max Ehrman that we recite every day. But for you, the natives, typically before each class, every day you recite the Sirata and then you start the lectures for the day. For the elders, it's usually before, at the beginning of every team meeting, we recite the Sirata before we start our team meetings. So it's a very important, very crucial part of our existence and our operations. And it's kind of like the foundation for almost everything about Semicolon. It's what birthed our, our brand values. It's what birthed our, the way we go about things in Semicolon. And when you read it and when you recite it accurately, you get to feel or you get to tap into the power of the literature, right? You're affirming a lot of things. You're learning. You're setting the tone. You're setting the mood right for whatever it is you're about to embark on, what you're about to do, and we hope or we hold on to the fact that when after we recite it, things just go seamlessly. And not just that, it's that when you keep reciting something over and over again, you slowly start practicing, the words within it, right? It becomes part of you and then you start practicing these words. So this is another reason I was waiting for everyone to come in, but at this point, that should have closed. We're just going to go straight to it. We're going to recite the Desperata, and we can kick off. Alright? Okay. So, 1, 2, ready, go. Go placidly, having the noise and haste, and remember what please your living silence. As far as possible without surrender, be omnipotent to all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even poor and ignorant, be to have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons, they are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not maintain your perfection, neither the symbol of our love. For in the face of popularity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrender the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit, you will live in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Be not a wholesome discipline. Be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have the right to be here, and whether or not it is left to you, no doubt the universe is holding as a shield. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you consider him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its charm, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy. Thank you. So you're going to, please keep that copy. You're going to recite it every day moving forward for your classes. And yeah, I'm just going to share something else for you to do. Well, not now, just have that. about our brand values. How many of you have seen our brand? How many of you have seen our brand values on our social media account? How many of you follow us on social media? This is that. Everyone, right? If your hand is not up, your hand is not up. No, not you, okay. What's your name again?
So,
Nonso. So how did you find out about Semicolon? Oh, you referral from in just a friend. Okay. So if you're not following us, please follow us. Okay, so I was asking because my follow-up question was, do you know what our brand? Do you know any of our brand values?
I think you.
Okay, which one?
Everyone is feel, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think you can do your business. By the way, you guys, how do really? You became a native for all of you. Let me just put it that way. You became a native very much in this class. Thanks. So field, right?
Yeah.
So okay, but do you know the rationale behind the brand values behind the app?
No idea.
So if you've gone through our social media, you'd see, well, there's a post there that kind of explains why we came up with the brand values, etc., etc. And I'm just going to visit it. And then we're just going to go through the brand values. So the brand values are very important. Like I said, you can tie them, you can connect them to the rata. They are values that we sat down together as a team, and we picked them because we didn't just want them to influence our operations as an organization. We wanted them to also influence our actions as human beings. So whether or not you're in the building, whether you're out of the country, we hoped that picking these brand values would actually influence the natives and the elders even after their journey with Semicolon. They should live with us, or they should live with you, should live with us till the very end. So they might seem a bit generic, but it was very intentional, right? So I'm just going to dive right in. Fun. Because we believe you should enjoy what you do, have a laugh every now and then. Now, it's actually deeper than these three lines. You guys are coming in and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be serious. There are times that they're going to come in and be like, "Amen." It's going to be that intensive. The other cohorts have experienced it. I wish Brown was here to have said something about that. But because we know how intensive the program is, how very targeted we want your growth process to be, you just have to have fun. Like you have to have fun in what you're doing, and you have to have fun outside what you're doing. You need to have to take a break every now and then. You need to chill. It's why the culture is very fluid. It's why the hierarchy is almost invisible, right? It's why I started by saying, don't call me Mrs., don't call me Mr., don't call me ma'am, just call me Google, because there's a lot going on outside, and you just want to come in here, but you want to drop all of that by the door. And then when you're here, you want to feel different. You want to feel at ease. You want to feel much more relaxed, even though you know that walking in here is also another journey that you started. So you have to have fun. It's one of the values we take very seriously because we're doing something quite stressful. Well, it's a very fast-paced environment. It's a very intensive training for you guys, even for the elders as well. What we do, how we make sure everyone is, being carried along properly, natives, citizens, etc., etc. We just want to have fun. So we have things like games nights, we have some things like tournaments, we have although that's on hold now, we used to have a community hangout. It's also doubled as a mentor session, but usually afterwards we just chill. For those of you that like to booze up and just booze up a bit, etc., etc. So yeah, that's fun. Then the next one is integrity, because we believe you should enjoy what you do. No, wait, what? Ah, Mama, excuse me, sorry. I know it's our designer by the way, and this is not the. I'm just going to see if I can pull out. Alex, listen. So, find the way around this. There you are. Hello, stop right there. Hi,
Hi.
good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. So please greet us and then tell us your name, where you're coming from, and one fun fact about yourself before you settle in.
Hi, I'm Oladimeji Omotosho, and I'm coming from Ikotu. And one fun fact, I'm very objective. Thank you very much.
Is that why you came late? Thank you, just make yourself comfortable. Hi.
Hi,
Yes.
Oyeton Barnabas. I'm coming from Today.
Your who? Your sorry?
Yeah,
Your
I'm
name?
Oyeton Barnabas.
Oh, Barnabas.
Yeah. So I'm
Okay.
coming from Oile.
Oh, really? Oh, traffic, right?
What?
Traffic. What fun fact about yourself?
Creativity.
Creativity.
Yeah.
Interesting. Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Okay. I think this is what's going to happen. I'm going to improvise. And And yeah, integrity, because the practice of being honest and showing consistent and uncompromising adherence to strong ethical principles and values can never be underrated. Integrity is key in everything that you do, in every place that you find yourself. You should practice integrity, right? So it's that you're walking into an environment that's going to be very demanding, that's going to put a lot of pressure on you. But how do you bring true to yourself in all of this? How do you make sure that you do not, fall off the bandwagon on this journey? Again, it's that going back to the intensity of your program, right? We we um we don't want so it's a school in many ways, in terms of the fact that you're coming to learn, right? Or you're going to train, even though it's more than that. But just to put things into perspective or to further expand on this brand value. So it's what are the values of honesty what do you think are the values of honesty and consistency that you think you should be practicing here? No, that's a question. You have a phrase. You're in a school. Hello.
I'm not just coming up.
Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry, mask on. I'm saying when you're in a place of learning and you're supposed to be honest and consistent, etc., how do you think, or what do you think those demands translate into? So, what should you be doing to be deemed as an honest student or a consistent student? Thank you. Studying hard. You have to be punctual. You have to be punctual. Thank you. Focused. Yes.
Academic integrity.
Academic integrity. Thank you. No cheating, no plagiarism, etc. What else? Be your neighbor's keeper. Help your fellow cohort mates. Do the right thing at the right time. Don't deceive yourself. Do not deceive yourself. That one is actually very underrated. But please don't deceive yourself. In terms of if you're not getting it, if you're not understanding, just say. Some will say, don't fake the funk. Don't pretend to be something you're not, because you're doing yourself at the end of the day, right? So that's just really it. Those are the sorts of principles that we're looking out for. And then as a person, when you practice these things, it just translates to who you are as a person and how you carry yourself, how you live with other people, even outside of this building. You're being honest, you're being true, you're being consistent, you're being reliable. These are really good principles that people should have as human beings. Because when you start to practice these things, you just become a better person. And really, you just want the world to be filled with really good people, with better people. Because when you're a good person, when you have these sorts of mantras or these sorts of principles that you live by, you just want to do good. And if you want to do good, there's a ripple effect, right? You're doing good, and then it's just everything just gets better at the end of the day. So that's it for integrity. Stay true to yourself, stay true to your cause, be honest, don't steal, don't fight, very straightforward, really. And then E is for empathy, right? Because to be an effective problem solver is to have the capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within their frame of reference. Now, empathy is really something that cuts across all all forms of training that you're going to be going through. So remember, we talked about design thinking, we talked about software engineering, we talked about business management, and is that you're learning all of these things to become an effective problem solver, right? And to become an effective problem solver is to be able to put yourself in the shoes of someone else. That's how you really able to solve that person's problem. You have to feel what that person is feeling. You have to understand what that person is going through. When you walk in that person's shoes, it's easier or it's clearer to go about the problem solving process, right? And that's it for the academic side of things. But when relating with each other, how do you understand the person sitting down beside you to know enough that if he's frowning and it's affecting your learning, is that maybe he's frowning because he had a bad day, maybe he came from Orly and there was a lot of traffic, and this is not his usual self, right? And instead of then frowning and then you guys are arguing and then the whole class erupts and then the whole day is lost. So it's that empathy when relating with each other is also very important, right? Because I always, like I said earlier, is that we're functioning as a family. It's not just an institution. It's not just formal and rigid per se. It's that we want to get to know you. We want to get to understand you. If I may, we want to be your friends, really. We really do. Because
Be your family.
I already said family now. Do you think every family member, do you think some family members are friends? There's levels. But you get what I'm saying, right? We want to have that relationship, and having that relationship means empathizing with, where you come from, who you are as a person, the things you've had to face. So that's why empathy is very important, even with the elders as well. We practice a lot of empathy with each other. We can get really crazy sometimes, the pressure, working with different people, different teams, different people from different walks of life. I've had my fair share of working with engineers, because we see things from different angles, right? So there's bound to be clashes sometimes. But when you apply this value, right, you take two steps back, and before the escalator becomes something that you don't want it to become, you already have things under control. So that's empathy. Because the engineer might be coming from a place where he's been trying to deploy for 5 hours, but then Puzo just comes and says, "We needed this thing since last week. Why are we still here?" And then he's like, "Nah." But if I come and I'm like, this person has a track record of delivering on time, so maybe something is wrong that he or she hasn't been able to deliver this. So I'm putting myself in his or her shoes, and I'm thinking, could it be that there's no power in her house or his house? Could it be that the laptop had issues? Could it be some bug that they haven't, seen for 5 years, blah blah blah? And then of course it's not just one-sided. It's that he's also understanding that I have a lot of pressure. Be trying to deploy or trying to make sure these things, are executed on time, or I have deadlines to meet, etc., etc. So it works, hand in hand. The empathy is not just for one person. The empathy is for everybody. So when everyone practices empathy, it's just smoother. The journey is just smoother, and you're able to bring that person closer, and you're able to practice, or able to build that relationship that comes with family with that person. Do you understand? So that's empathy. That's empathy. What you do to being effective problem solvers, and empathy as a person, as an individual, as a native of Semicolon, right? So that's love, which is up here. This one is quite straightforward. We're a family and we love who we are and what we do.
Put your hand up and scroll up.
I don't know where you put it to.
Just scroll up. Use 2 fingers.
Okay. Thanks. Right? So, love is different from empathy. Let's just start with that. A lot of people confuse both of them. Do you guys agree? So love is different from having empathy. You can love someone and not have empathy towards that person. And you can have empathy towards that person, towards the person, or not love that person. Some people are.
How do you love someone and not have empathy for them?
You don't know.
I can understand having empathy for someone, not loving the person, but you automatically true love, because some people actually confuse love too. True love, if you love someone, you feel for them, and empathy is all about feeling for another person's angle or a person's lived experience. So I don't understand that aspect.
So you kind of answered the question.
No.
You can ideally, right? If you love someone, you should have empathy towards that person. But what is love? Let's even start with that. What do you think love is? Me personally, okay, let me let you answer. What do you think love is?
Love is love is love. I mean, it's an overwhelming. It's an overwhelming feeling of a number of things: kindness, joy, giving of yourself to someone.
So you just answered it. You gave me the right answer because I was going to say that love is subjective. Do you understand? You were like love is love because there's no like a written definition. It's a feeling.
Yes.
So it's very subjective, right? That's why people that beat their wives, they're like, I love you.
Yeah.
You're beating her though, you know?
Or when the spouse it cheats.
Yeah, I love her. But if you actually have empathy,
Okay, I see where you're coming.
do you understand? You can, the both of them, ideally, love is supposed to come with empathy, but empathy is such a strong principle or value that people need to. Empathy is like being selfless. It's an act of selflessness. That's why sometimes I talk to people like, oh, you know, I said, me personally, I feel like if you cheat, you're just, it's two things. I categorize cheating into two things. You're greedy and you're selfish. That's it. That's it for me. If you cheat, you're greedy and you're selfish. You want more, you have something, you want more. And you're selfish because you're not thinking of that person you're hurting, you're about to hurt. Just those two things for me. I don't care if you say I love her or I love you for time loyalty now. In that particular moment, you are being greedy and selfish. So that's empathy is an act of selflessness. If you had empathy for your wife or your husband, right, you would think twice before cheating. Do you understand? Or you still love that person. You are married to that person, you probably have kids with that person, you probably share finances with that person, you probably open the door for her before she enters the car, or you make sure. Do you understand? You're performing acts of love and they're quite subjective. You're expressing love. But yeah?
Love is selfless too, though.
Love is selfless. Yeah. Love being selfless is one of that. It's one of its attributes.
Oh yeah.
That's why I said, ideally, if you love someone, you should have empathy towards that person. But most times, it doesn't really happen. That's why we particularly divided those two values.
Fair enough. Let me just add something. Personally, I feel like if you love someone, you cannot, like, you can just have sympathy, not empathy. Like, empathy and sympathy, they are like two different things. And because we are human beings and self-preservation is first to ourselves, for you to feel empathy is such a strong emotion. You have to put yourself in that person's place. And human beings are not made to be selfless. If you are selfless, if you pick other people over you, they can say you have a mental disorder because you're supposed to pick yourself first, preservation first. So I feel sympathy, but empathy is a special emotion.
Yeah. So that answers the difference. So yes, love. I think we've dwelled on because we're a family and we love who we are and what we do. So in terms of you walking into this building, you have to love the fact that you're on this journey to become a software engineer. You have to want to do it. You have to love doing it. You have to enjoy doing it, right? Because there will come a time that you'll be like, oh, I'm tired of it, right? But when they keep saying if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. So you have to develop that love, even though it might get tough eventually. You have to love the people that you're around, people that are around you, your cohort mates, the elders, even the citizens really, because they will come in, or they come in once in a while. Love what you do and embrace the fact that you're family. And we've already highlighted the love as a person, right? With the conversation, the expansion we have as family. It's just really that straightforward. Love is subjective. Express it, practice it, be kind, be selfless, be generous, just love. Just love. Agape love. Let me just be clear now, because I think familial love, right? So just love and just be good people. Just be nice. Don't be too nice sometimes, but just be good, be kind, love, and share, and all of that. Because we're a family, right? And then finally, discipline. Because everyone is responsible for their actions or inactions, and are so owed to themselves to be intentional about them, right? So when we were talking about discipline, it was it's kind of like empathy and love in terms of the fact that it touches on integrity in a way, but discipline is such a strong value that we actually have to bring it out. Because if you're going to be a person of integrity, it takes a level of discipline, right? Don't you think so? Yeah. But being disciplined, to be disciplined is like you have to go through a series of, how do I put it? Deliberate. Yeah, deliberate actions. Thank you. Exactly. To be disciplined, you have it's like a never-ending journey. Do you understand? And you will need it. You will need it in your training and as human beings, right? Because there are times people will push you, right? And there are also times you need to push yourself. Either to do something or to not do something, right? So here is someone might come in and say, you guys are doing 14 hours of coding, which is something he says at least to, he has probably said it all Cohorts. There are times they do like, we're doing 14 hours straight, coding back to back. And then everybody's like, oh. But eventually, they do it, right? And they don't do it because he held their hand and he spoon fed them. They did it because they decided that they were going to do it. So they were deliberate their actions. They decided to do it. And it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of discipline to be here. It takes a lot of discipline to, remain here. It takes a lot of discipline to, even when you're out here, practice the things that you learned here. And by out here, you'll be doing the weekends, when you feel like you just want to relax. When you're like, oh my goodness. You're also, by the way, also the facilitator, also said we should do this code, blah, blah, blah. Take up discipline to practice for your tests, so you're going to have tests, those sorts of things. To not cheat, to do the needful. It takes a lot of discipline like that, right? So that's pretty much it for discipline in terms of being here. And then you can really just tie it to discipline as a person, right? You're building yourself, you're building your tolerance, you're building your exposure in many ways, right? Because you're building yourself as a person. Because if you can condition yourself to be disciplined to a large extent, right, you can be in control of a lot of things. People will not be very difficult to come with puppets. You guys know the Machiavelli theory? No? But you guys know that people can manipulate people into doing things, right? And this is just me, just general life. People manipulate people into doing things. You don't even necessarily, it doesn't even have to be in your face. But the Machiavellian theory is like the art of deception, where it's like someone doing something by themselves, to themselves, but with the intention of influencing your actions. You know it happens, right? Hello, good morning. Oh, yeah, good morning. Hi. Welcome. Can you say hi to us and just tell us your name, where you're coming from, and one fun fact about yourself?
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Ginga, and I graduated from Unila, studied petroleum and gas engineering. And one fun thing about me is I like cooking.
Oh, nice.
You have kitchen, no?
What do you mean? The world's best chefs are men.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Please make yourself comfortable. Yes. So, that's that's about it. So, and then I mentioned that because yeah. So people can do stuff to influence your actions, to provoke you, but if you are in control of yourself to a large extent, if you're in control of your actions, you wouldn't act the way they expect you. You become unpredictable, and it's such a beautiful thing to be unpredictable as a person. I know a lot of unpredictable people. It's really nice, because if you're unpredictable, it just means that normally, consciously or unconsciously, people can't control you or influence your actions. Because no one can guess what you're about to do next. And it's like you're a small god in a way. I think you're a small god in a way if you make yourself an unpredictable person, right? So, no fighting. Don't let anybody push you to fight. Don't let anybody push you to call each other names. Because we're all human beings, and we're from different walks of life, trying to come together. You guys are going to there's going to be there's this process. Let's call it merging, right? You guys are going to be in the merging process for about maybe 3 weeks. You're going to have to find some kind of oh, my words failing me. You guys need to sync, right? Before you start moving as a cohort. Right now, you're so different. You have I want this back. But eventually we want you to merge and sync, and then we're able to describe you as a cohort. You're able to function as a cohort, and we're able to describe you as a cohort, right? So we can say, for 5 they are XYZ, because now you guys are so synced that you're moving as a unit, you're acting as a unit. So the syncing or the merging, the thinking will take a while, say 2-3 weeks. Some people will clash, it's inevitable. So many clashes in the previous talk, but the point is, eventually you guys will then settle in and then you merge. But discipline is what will minimize the clashes. Discipline is what will let you control your actions. Discipline is what will not let things escalate any higher than they should be. Do you understand? So, that's it for the brand values. We're just going to take a quick break so you can fill the questionnaires that I sent to you, and I can just go check if your food is here. Okay? Thank you.